Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. It is deck discussion time, actually. It's not really game time. So, if you're here and you discovered my video, that means you want to try to climb your way to master rank or climb your way up the ladder. You know what? You don't even have to reach master rank. And that's okay if you don't, right? So here I'm going to show you the most commonly deck I've seen on the ladder right now. I am in Ultra Ball 4 because it goes from 4 to 1 each tier. So you start at, for those of you not familiar with ranked in the Pokemon Pocket, it starts from beginner rank 4 to 1, Pokeball rank 4 to 1, Great Ball rank 4 to 1, Ultra Ball rank 4 to 1, and then Master Ball rank 4 to 1. But when you hit master rank, you start at the top 1,000 rank, I believe, and you can work your way up. So it's not really like tiers anymore at that point. But anyways, I digress. Just let's get into it. So this is one of the decks that is used often that I've seen, and this is my current deck that I use. Um, I got it. I got the idea from user. I can't remember their name. I think it's Sigun or S1 Gun. I don't know. They are a Japanese player. I will be linking their stuff below. So I'm giving credit where credit's due. But this is a deck that I seen often. So if you're mostly you might actually have these cards already because this is technically an older deck. The only cards you need to worry about are the newer cards. For example, Team Rocket and maybe Communications and maybe Cape. But everything else you should have at this point. And probably Cyrus. Okay. So the way this deck works, it's a quick deck. It's a quick deck, and which is why I really like it because I've been struggling to find a deck that's suitable for myself because I used to play Pikachu EX because I liked that it was quick. I wish Pikachu EX was still viable. Anyways, I digress. But there's different ways you can start. Obviously, depending on what you get or whatever, you choose the correct course of actions for yourself. But for this, like let's say you get Sneasel first, but you don't get really anything else. That's fine. Even if you go second, if you go technically, yeah, if you technically go second or whatever, you already have a head start. As Sneasel's really good because, well, it just costs one, right, compared to Darkrai. But if you manage to get Sneasel and Darkrai, in my opinion, go ahead and put Sneasel up first. Because with Darkrai, you can boost to Darkrai and then give Sneasel, and then you guys can start already doing more damage, right? So because you don't want to waste the leaf yet. I know some people might disagree with my what I just said, right? You would want to put Darkrai first as a tank or what have you, but you have two capes to cover that. So in case you need to buy yourself some time, you need to buy yourself some time to get either the Weavile or maybe another Darkrai, or maybe you're trying to not let your Sneasel die because you don't have the Weavile, stuff like that, right? So we have cards like Pokeball to get the cards out, and let's say you use a Pokeball and you end up getting another Sneasel and you're looking for the Weavile, or you get another Darkrai and you don't want the Darkrai because you want the Weavile as well. Then we have that Pokemon Communications just for that. Of course, we have Professor's Research to get out as many cards as you need as well. You have the Sabrina in order to switch out the Pokemon. Maybe buy yourself some time. Because maybe your opponent's Pokemon might be fully set already, and has all the energies they need because you will be facing cards such as Gyarados and Giratina, and also other Darkrai's who need a multiple energy. So maybe they've been just focusing on that Pokemon like that, and they just you just want to switch out the other one that they have, and they don't have any energy. So you buy yourself some time. Again, Cyrus is good for in case, let's say you did damage. You did damage either with whatever Pokemon you did damage, right? And they said the opponent just has to switch out, because they see that your Pokemon are a threat, your cards are a threat. Guess what? You'd be like, hey, come back here. That's what the Cyrus is for. Dawn is good if, let's say, you decided to, let's say you have Darkrai at your disposal, or you were forced to be switched to Darkrai, and let's say you're at 2, and you already had Sneasel at the 1. Dawn is good for that. Team Rocket is really good when it works. When it doesn't work, it's just terrible. I hate it. When it doesn't work, it's terrible, and I really, really hate it. But when it does work, it's amazing. It's really good against cards, against Pokemon that need at least more than 2. They need 2 and above. So as long as you have your 2, you're fine. Yes, as long as you get it, it works. And then of course, Leaf is there to to protect dying Pokemon maybe and whatnot. So if you're looking for something fast, I recommend this one. This is probably the fastest out of all the decks. I'm gonna say maybe we'll see. You guys can decide. But let's go ahead and look at this. So again, this is from Sigun. I don't have this deck yet, so I am using what they upload on their Twitter. Again, I have their Twitter below. But this deck is a bane of my existence right now because grass types are strong against dark types. So this card is the bane of my existence right now. So I really, really hate it. It's very, very annoying to go against at the moment. It's very annoying to go against at the moment. So the way you want to use it is you want to focus on trying to evolve into Meowscarada ASAP as soon as you can, because that card does 140 damage, I think. It does a lot of damage. Okay, it does a lot of damage, and it will take out a lot of EX cards out there, because the way it works is that it does damage based on if you have EX cards. And again, once you hit Ultra rank, at least in my experience, you're going to be running into a lot of cards, a lot of players that use EX cards. You're going to be seeing the same thing a lot, so just get prepared for that. You're going to be seeing this deck. You're going to be seeing the Darkrai deck. You're going to be seeing the Giratina deck, and you may see Gyarados. All the decks I'm listing are the decks that are frequently used that I've seen so far in my playing. So again, Spirigadito, as I pronounce it, they're there in order to pump out the cards you need. So you need to do your best to protect that card, because I believe it only has 40 HP, I think, or 50 HP. I can't tell. I'm sorry, that it's very small, but it has a little HP compared to other Pokemon, right? So you want to use its ability, which is call for help. I believe that's what it's called. Call for help, and you spend your turn getting a card in your deck. So that's really good, especially if you get the second evolution, right? Because second evolution does 40, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it does 40. And if you're playing against darkness cards, again, like Weavile, Darkrai, it will do 60. It will do 60. So right now, this deck is the bane of my existence. I haven't seen many people use like Executor. It's mostly Meowscarada that I've seen, because it does a buttload of damage. It's insane. So of course, the supporter cards you have here is the Pokeballs, to get the Pokemon out. You have a cape to protect, and I guess Spirigadito, because I have not used this deck. And of course, you have Professor Research to get more cards out, and then you have two Ericas to keep your Pokemon healed. And then you have the Sabrina in case you want to switch out. Then you have the Cyrus to switch out the card that you have attacked already. And then of course you have Red to do damage to EX cards, because Red is really good, especially in this meta. You have, in my opinion, you have to at least run one red card, because most decks you'll see will be running EX cards. And that extra 20 damage is so valuable. It's insane because, like, for example, in the previous deck that I showed you, right, the max damage you could do with Darkrai is technically 100, right? It's technically 100, but if you add red, that's 120. And if it's you're playing against a psychic type, like Mewtwo or Giratina, that's already 140 and that's crazy, right? That's insane. So yes, so your main goal for the deck is to get Meowscarada as quick as possible against any EX cards. Erica's there to help you stall to heal your Pokemon. And of course, you already know what the other cards do. Okay. And the next deck we'll be looking at is a different version of Giratina. Okay, here we have the next deck. So the next deck is what I like to call Giratina CS, because as you can see, it has Giratina, Darkrai, and Arceus. And the cool part is you only need to run the Darkness deck. Now, for me, this is cool. This is a cool deck because everybody can do great damage. Basically, essentially, this is like the traditional. This is a traditional, like the traditional Giratina deck, but the exception is that you switch out Judgeigon for Arceus. I've seen this for Giratina. I've seen this deck. There's three variations I've seen. Right. It's this deck. Then it's this deck without the Arceus, and then it's this deck without the Arceus, but instead they're Judgeigons. So those are things to keep an eye out for. So here we have Giratina, and you're guaranteed a good Pokemon to pick. Honestly, the worst case scenario you would not want to get is Arceus, because Arceus does rely on getting the other Pokemon. But once you get the Ghost Pokemon, you're good to go. So again, just like the other Darkrai deck that I showed you, you optimally want to use Darkrai, to poke and deal damage like that, and then you should have Giratina in front, assuming you don't have all the other cards yet for Arceus, right? Because the Giratina's ability grants it a psychic energy, but it ends your turn. That's the only downside. So it's basically Gardevoir, but you don't need to wait to stage 2 to get it, right? So what I like to do sometimes is, if I'm in a comfy position, right, if I know I'm not going to take too much damage, or I know I'm not going to take any damage at all, what I like to do, if I haven't done so already, is give an energy, right, sacrifice, doing 20 points of damage, and sacrifice an energy and give it to Giratina just for one turn, so that way Giratina is already up ahead. So that way you're up ahead by 2. So in case you do, even if you go first, regardless, you are already ahead as Giratina, right? Because let's say you do go first with Giratina, right? You won't be able to attach an energy normally, right, from your energy zone, but you will be able to use Giratina's ability in order to attach a psychic energy. And since you can't attack right away anyways, it's perfect, right? Because you're just barely starting the game, right? And let's say you do go second, then you already have 2 energies, right? So it's perfect. Again, you do just have to play the cards, test them out and see how to play them, because it's kind of hard to show you if I'm not actually playing the deck, right? Again, of course, you have Pokeballs to take out your Pokemon. All the Pokemon are great here. Again, Arceus is probably like the last ones you want to get, because you want to get the other ones first, right? And then of course you have Cape. Capes are great for everybody, doesn't matter who, but I think they help most most importantly on Giratina, because Giratina does do damage to itself when it does its attack. So I think that's not too bad. So technically you can put the cape and it's like they never took damage at all. And then of course you have the professors to take out more cards, right, from your deck. You have Sabrina, to switch out your opponents. Then you have Leaf to switch yourself out because all of these cards cost 2 costs, right? And obviously you don't want to pay the 2 costs, so you got 2 Leafs in there. Then you have Cyrus again for those you have tacked, right? Maybe you are doing poking damage with Darkrai's ability, and they decide, oh, I don't want to deal with this. They switch out. You can bring them back in and do damage if Darkrai or maybe Arceus is already ready to attack, or maybe even your Giratina is already ready to attack. Of course, you have Dawns to switch the energies around, right? So let's say maybe you gave energies to Darkrai or whatever, and let's say you're missing one for like Arceus or one for Giratina. If your active spot, then what you can do is you can combo by giving the energy to Darkrai and then doing Dawn, and then you can attack if you're ready to attack the next already, right? So that's a little busted, not a little busted, right? But strategic, right? And that's how you want to play the cards. And of course, you have red to do the extra 20 damage if it is an EX card. Now the next deck we have will be Charizard. Charizard makes a comeback, y'all. Charizard makes a comeback with his new deck. Again, this deck was part of courtesy of C-Goon or S1 Goon. I don't know how Saigoon. I do not know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. So in case you come this video, I am sorry. Again, I will be linking. Sorry. This is the wrong person. So sorry. This one is sorry. I'm so sorry. My bad. The other decks, every other deck except this one, my bad, comes from the other person I gained. This is from Yamamu Gaming on YouTube and on Twitter. I got it from Twitter, but I will be putting both of them to credit them. So in case you want to go watch them, all of these are Japanese players because most of the people you'll be seeing here are Japanese players. So let's go ahead and talk about this deck. I haven't seen this deck, maybe because I'm not master rank, but I did want to include this here because Yama did say that they got to is it fourth ranking? I believe they said they got. Oh, they said they're number 1 right now. I think it says right here, I reached first place in the Pokemon Master rank. So they said that this deck is not terrible in the higher ranking and stuff. So I recommend trying this out. I haven't tried this out yet, but basically this is just like OG Charizard EX. The only difference is you're using some of the new cards that came out. So you have the current Shining Rivalry, Charmander and Charmeleon. I forgot what Amber did, which is the original Charmander card. But now you have a new card, right? You have that one. And then you have Charmander. I don't think it lose. I think Charmeleon used to lose energy, I believe. Oh yeah, I don't know why it's showing that I have grass energy. I apologize for that. But you do need fire. Just make sure because depending on the order of the cards, that's what it gives you. But yes. So if you have not played like the OG Charizard EX, this is what it is basically. So you want to start with Moltres and Charmander. You do not want to have Charmander initially. You want to have Moltres so you can start building up that energy in order to evolve it into Charizard. Because remember, Charizard EX loses, I believe, 2 or 3 energy. I forgot. I haven't played the deck in a while. I might play it in a little bit. And then we have the X speeds in case you need to get Charmander out of there and put Moltres in there, or maybe you need to get Charmeleon out of there as well because maybe you could have one fire energy on there already. You have Pokeballs again to pick out the Pokemon, and in case you didn't get the Pokemon you were looking for, like let's say you're looking for Charizard already, you have access to Pokemon communication, and you can go ahead and search for the Pokemon you're looking for. Shaymin is there in the bench just to do healing, because that is so useful, because Shaymin heals 10 to every Pokemon, right? It's not just one Pokemon. Any Pokemon that's hurt, it does heals 10, right? And then of course you have the cape for more survivability. Maybe you might use it on Charmander first or Charmeleon first, because like Charizard does not need it. Charizard has what, like 150, 180? I don't remember. I can't see. But so yes, it's basically just that, nothing too special. You just buy yourself time until you can get to Charizard, and you want to be pumping your Charmander evolution line until you get to Charizard. So that's basically the game plan. You have Giovanni for extra damage. I don't see why you would need Giovanni unless you're attacking with Moltres, because Charizard already does 200. There's no Pokemon that has that much health in the game. I don't think it's even possible to hit 200 health. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. But base health, nobody has 200 at all. So that's how you want to play it, and it's faster now because of the decks you get. I'm gonna try it out a couple games right now after I'm done making this video, and then I will see how it goes. And the last deck we have is Crancario. So basically what you want to do with this deck is you want to try to get Lucario out as quick as possible, because Lucario grants 20 plus HP, not HP, sorry, 20 plus damage to your attacks, right? So I think I seen some variations of it. There's some people that have Marshadow in it in lieu of another Sudowoodo. So you can also try that too, because Marshadow, I believe, does, I want to say 100 or 80 if one of your Pokemon gets knocked out, right? So what you want is try to get Lucario first, from what I've seen, and you also want to get your Cranidos as well, because Cranidos is 150. Like, that's crazy. That's enough to take a lot of Pokemon. But again, it's a stage 2, so you could lose your fossil early. That's something to keep in mind, right? But Sudowoodo is good because I think you want to start with Sudowoodo actually. You want to start with Sudowoodo and have a Riolu in the bench, because you're not going to be attacking Lucario. You're going to just be using Lucario for its ability, which gives you 20 more damage, right? And then I know you don't have red here, but you can maybe sneak in a red. Again, this is just a deck that I've seen commonly used as well. You don't have to use this exact decks that I've shown you. You are more than welcome to modify the decks to your choosing, right? So again, you have Pokeballs to get out the cards you need, right? Pokeball only works on basic cards, so you could only get Riolu. I think it works on Fossil because it is basic, right? And so in case you don't get the cards you want, you have Pokemon Communication again to take out the stuff. But hopefully Pokeball gets you Sudowoodo, because Sudowoodo is really good against EXs. It does, I forgot how much damage it does, but it does a decent amount if it's your cards in EX. And then of course you have the fossils, right? Because obviously you need to be able to evolve into Cranidos. And then you have Professor Research to get more cards out. And then you have Sabrina to sub out the Pokemon you need to be subbing out. And then you have Cyrus to also sub out the Pokemon that have been damaged. So play around with all these decks. I hope you guys enjoy the decks, and I hope you guys climb the ladder. For those of you who are playing Pokemon ranked, I hope you guys are climb to master rank just like me. I want to reach master rank. So Thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it. As always, guys, like and subscribe if you haven't. Also follow my Twitch. I believe it's also linked below. Thank you guys so much for watching.